listen, this is what I want to talk about. Just this game as a whole, how I feel about it. This was, in my opinion, the worst loss of the season. Now, the reason why I think that this is the worst loss of the season has nothing to do with the fact that the Spurs lost a close game. It has nothing to do with anything that our team did. Like, as far as like, did they play terrible? Did they, just play like losers? Was it no effort or anything? It's none of that. The reason why I think that this is the worst loss for me personally is because I felt like the team had one of the most complete games of the season. Like, there were so many adjustments. You could see the improvement from game 1 to now, and it's just gut-wrenching the fact that they lost this one. But I know that this sounds like a broken record, but we can blame it. Like, this is why games ago or weeks ago I kept saying, and I continue to say, stop blaming one player. Stop blaming one player. Stop blaming just the coach, just Popovich. Stop blaming just. I never once just blamed Keldon. Like, don't just blame one player. It's not that simple. Like, you want to come out of this game and say it was Sohan's fault. Well, Sohan also had a very clutch 3 at the end. He had 33 points as a whole, and he had a clutch steal at the end. And it was bad officiating, whatever. But don't just blame one player. If we start playing that game, then every game, it's like when someone has a poor game, you just blame him. You just blame Malachi, right? If he didn't go 1 for 5, if he went 2 for 5, we would have won this game. No, it doesn't necessarily work like that, okay? You said blame the turnovers. That's fine. I was gonna actually be a little bit more broad. I blame experience. That's it. That's it. I feel like a lot of Spurs fans forget that we were actually in the other driver's seat before. Like, at one point we were the veteran team that always finished games, that always took younger teams out. What would happen when we go against younger teams? They didn't know how to finish. As talented as they were, and we're not even at the point of some of these teams I'm talking about. Like, we're talking about like OKC, young OKC team, or the young Golden State Warriors team. Like, we're not even at that point yet. Like, we're still, we still got to get some more assets, some more players and whatnot. But all I'm trying to say is, at one point, we were the vets. We were the ones that had the poise and knew how to, finish. And we had the superstar that could do that. Now we're on the other end right now, right? We're on the other side of the gun. And the San Antonio Spurs, as it stands right now, we're just a young team. We don't know how to finish. And this game, I felt like individually we finished pretty strong. Like, Sohan finished strong for the most part. Wemby slipped up quite a bit, at the end, but it's just no one individual player. And I feel like we need to take the positives out of this game, because while it is frustrating, and this is the worst one, okay, this one actually had me upset. Like, it had me more upset than even the other ones, because we had a more complete game, and it felt like a more controlled game, but it wasn't controlled for the complete complete 4 quarters. Like, a lot of what we saw last season, because people say the Spurs gotten worse this season. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. We had a very tough record thus far. I will say that. I don't think the Spurs have gotten worse last season. What I saw last season was a lot of the Spurs looking okay, hanging in there the first 2 quarters, and then as soon as the 3rd quarter hit, all out the window, we're completely trashed for the remainder of the game. Okay, we're just getting like bashed the remainder of the game. Now it seems like it comes kind of in spurts, like this unattentiveness, this lack of awareness, these turnovers. It kind of comes in like small waves, and they just have to start cleaning it up a little bit. Because I truly do believe that as the game went on, they had a pretty complete game, but it was just times in the 3rd quarter and the 4th quarter where it was like, guys, get it. Come on, get it. Yeah, let's get it back. Let's get it back where it needs to be. I mean, the fact that we scored 39 in the 3rd quarter, and kept and stayed in. I mean, that's huge. But I don't know. It seemed like once Wemby came out, I think at one point when Sohan came out, it's like we just kind of, I don't know. We had some brain lapses. So I think at the end of the day, it does come down to just experience. They're just not experienced in finishing these games. And it's not necessarily only in the last 2 minutes of the game at finishing. No, you gotta you gotta holding your lead and staying strong with that. I mean, that's the third, that's the fourth, you know. And I feel like the Spurs have gotten better. They're having more complete games, but it's not the full 4 quarters yet. We're not there yet. Yeah. I mean, and I'm thinking back at those old Spurs teams, man, and maybe this is a little bit of revisionist history. Maybe it's just how like fondness or the amount of fondness I have for those teams, but like I don't recall them having that many mental lapses. Like it was like maybe a few plays, like maybe a few plays. But that was just not the case with this team right now. So it's just a young team. And when you start to forget that we're a young team, just think about when the Spurs would go against these young teams, man. Like, yeah, we would demolish them. It didn't mean they didn't have effort. It didn't mean that they didn't try hard or play hard or anything like that. It just came down to they just weren't experienced. And I think that's what this one came down to. It was just experience. Unfortunately, it was literally a player killing us, Trae Young. That was unfortunate because he had all the experience in the world. Well, him and DeJounte, right? Him and DeJounte got experience. DeJounte knows how to finish a game, you know. But man, I'll be honest though, I am happy DJing on this team. The way that he yelled at Bogdanovic, hopefully I'm saying that right, Bogdanovic, for not passing the ball to Trae Young, like when he was inbounding the ball, and he just like literally stopped half court to yell at him. I was like, oh my god, dude. And the fact that he kept trying Wemby, and it seemed like he was just trying to get a clip on Wemby. Like, I don't know. I didn't like it. It was kind of lame. But overall, I thought Trae Young just, man, he torched us. He torched us. And when you guys kept talking about when it's, because he still really hasn't had it, but that welcome to the NBA moment for Wemby, no one will say this is it, but whatever that means, this is the closest thing to it, I think. I mean, Trae Young was having a field day. He didn't allow Wemby to affect him at all. He was so patient, and as soon as Wemby like hand was down, his head turned, it's out of his hands. It was masterful. It was masterful. Oh, thanks, Dylan. Hold on, what did you say? This one was tough because they had a real chance. Oh, a lot of these games they had chances. A lot of these games they had chances. They shouldn't have been in this position to begin with, but that just comes with experience. They stopped doing what got them the league to begin with. That ultimate ball movement just kind of went out the window, and then you started forcing shots, and the ball just becoming stagnant. It was ugly. It was ugly. And I really do think that this is a game where we would have really benefited with Doug McDermott playing. But I don't know. I don't really know what happened there. Is it just me, or is it kind of weird that Mamu isn't getting minutes? Mamu Kelashvili. Hopefully I said that. Mamu Kelashvili. Kelashvili. Machiavelli. Come with me. Let's see. They said he had a hip. Yeah, you talking about Wemby. Hold on, I'm just gonna read some of these comments and see what you guys are talking about. Swap Mamu for Collins. Not a clean swap. Not a clean swap. Honestly, I just don't think. Like, here's the thing. Okay, Zach Collins, his passing ability is really good, and I think that at this point is really keeping him in the game as well. But I don't think that we're getting as much utility as we thought we would out of him in that starting lineup. Because I thought that the main thing was that he was going to space the floor, but he hasn't been a great space floor. That's like a space floor. Space floor? Is that how? I guess that's how you could say it. Space floor this season. Oh, you told me it's Mamu Kelashvili. Mamu Kelashvili. Okay. Machiavelli. Blows from a 12 gauge shotty. Feel me? Come with me. Yeah, we're weak passes. I don't even know what you respond to. I'm sorry. No, but Zach Collins, I think he's a really good passer. That's probably what's keeping him in the game, honestly. He had the most assists on our team. Him and Trae Young tied that up. Sohan had 6, but yeah, but no, I completely agree with you guys. Like him coming, I don't think that he should be like benched where he shouldn't get any playing time. But coming off the bench, I think it's perfectly fine. I've said this already. I love, and I'm hoping we'll see this in the next few games. I love coming off the bench, Zach Collins. Well, I'll just say the lineup I love. I love Zach Collins with Osman, McDermott, Malachi, and I always miss and Mamu. Yeah. I love that lineup. That lineup's so nasty. They play so well together. But starting, yeah, I think maybe we can stick Trae Young in there, stick Devin Vassell in there, and then move Wemby to the center. I think that's totally fine. I think that'll be a really good lineup. And obviously Sohan, once Trae Young sits down, he should get like most like playoff duties. I mean, not playoff duties. I'm saying point guard duties. Floor spacer. What was I saying? Space floor? Oh my God. Yeah, floor spacer. What the heck is wrong with me? The heck? I had it twisted. Tell Wemby to stop settling for threes. To go up, wait, too good of a shooter to keep rotating out to the 3-point line? Well, Ruru, a lot of times I think I feel like Wemby isn't really getting the ball. First, okay, Wemby's getting the ball. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have stopped it there. Wemby, he doesn't necessarily have like a go-to right now, right? Like a lot of superstars and a lot of stars, as you know, as it goes on, they have like a signature. They have a thing that they go to, their bread and butter. I don't necessarily think Wemby has a bread and butter offensively yet. And as it stands right now, the guys just aren't necessarily getting him in those points where he could be effective around the rim, right? So a lot of times he is resorting to going back out to that 3-point line. But then here's the thing. When you have Zach Collins, and he's playing with Zach Collins, if you have Zach Collins who's not necessarily spacing the floor, then who's taking up the space in the paint? He is. That's why I think it's not necessarily working as well as we want it to work. I'm just being honest. I mean, if you pay attention, a lot of times that space in the paint is taken up. But so it's a mixture of they're not necessarily finding him. They're still not 100% comfortable in making those bad passes because anybody else it's a bad pass. And then on top of it, you got the paint that's kind of taken up right now. So Wemby is kind of, I don't want to say settling, but yeah, he's kind of around mid-range to 3-point line right now. You know, long shots. I mean, it's not really much he can do. It's fine. It's not all Zach Collins' fault. That's my thing, bro. I think that's the main thing I want to get across with this. It's not one player's fault. It's not. It's just, I think it just really comes down to experience. And another thing too, like we can talk about how, well, Sohan had a year under his belt. Keldon had some years under his belt. Vassell had years under his belt. The thing is, these guys have not played together. There's a lot of new players on this team. There is. It's a lot of new players. Even Vassell coming into the lineup, he barely played last season. So that's an adjustment. Sohan's being moved positions, you know, to hone in on his skills. That's a whole new thing. Wembanyama being on the team. I mean, you got this superstar caliber talent, and you're still trying to figure him out. I mean, he's nothing anybody has ever seen before. And when you don't have a point guard other than like Trey Jones, which I think Trey Jones is a suitable point guard, but I think he's more of a suitable like backup point guard. When it's all said and done, I think he's a really good like backup point guard, and he's like totally fine. But you don't have like a star point guard on this team to settle things down or anything like that. Like, could you imagine Trae Young with Wemby? Like it would be a little bit more controlled. So it's just a lot going on. Malachi Branham, like while we want to say this is sophomore year, which it is, he's getting much more like opportunity. He's much more in the front line now than he was last season. Osman's new. You know, Bassey, he was hurt last season. I know he hasn't played a lot, but he's been hurt last season. So it's a lot of adjustments. So it's a mixture of, this is a young team, and this is also a young team that hasn't really played together a lot. Even Zach Collins, right? Like, yeah, Zach Collins was on the team last year, but Zach Collins, as far as his substantial minutes and being like concrete in the rotation, that didn't happen until after the Jakob Poeltl trade. So he's even fairly new in getting things going with the other players. So, Clan, it doesn't matter. Trey is much better point than Jeremy. Yeah. Okay. What's your point? Okay. So Trey Jones should just play point guard all game. Like, he should just play the entire game. I don't know your point. You want to get spicy? I'll get spicy. Let's get even spicier, okay? Not only is Trey Jones a better point guard than Sohan, Malachi is. You know why? Because Malachi has played point guard before. Sohan's never played point guard before. So, yeah. Yeah, we actually have 2 better point guards than Sohan. So, what's your point? So he should be on the floor with Wemby for the most part. Trey Jones played a lot of minutes with Wemby on this in this game, or he has. He's had played quite a few minutes with Wemby. But see, this is the thing though. I don't even want to get in. We're not going down this rabbit hole. This game. Let's just talk about this game. Let's talk about today. This game. This wasn't Sohan's fault. This had nothing to do with Sohan running point guard. This had nothing to do with it. And if you say otherwise, I don't know what game you're watching. I don't know what stats you're looking at. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But this game had nothing to do with that. So why are we even bringing this up? We in just tonight? No, look, yeah, just tonight. We're just talking about tonight. We're talking about tonight's game. This had nothing to do with anything. What you're bringing up has nothing to do with anything. Sohan hasn't been better. He's been doing better. It's fine. Whatever. This is going to be very beneficial later, okay? He's not going to be the point guard forever. He's not going to be the Spurs' next great point guard or nothing like that. That's not true. He's not going to be the next Tony Parker, but this is going to be very helpful in the future. When things need to be, what? No, I'm talking as a whole. I don't care. I'm only talking about this game. I don't care. The last several games, I've been pretty happy with the Spurs. So, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Come on, Clan. We have Wemby. We should be undefeated. Wait, are you joking? Thanks for the super chat, but you got to be joking. I think you're joking. Wemby's great, but yeah, no, he's 19 years old. Oh, you are joking. Okay. Clan, we would have won if the NBA allowed a coach's challenge that late in the game. It is weird that they don't. It really was bad officiating, but I'm not gonna totally blame the officiating. I'm just gonna blame our experience because there were some lapses in there that really opened up the gate for the Hawks to get back in that game, and later finish it. They just finished better than us, and they only finished better than us because they had a superstar that knows how to finish. I mean, he was slicing and dicing us, man. Oh dang! I swear I did not steal that from you, super life. He just said Trey was slicing our defense up. Yeah, he was, dude. It was masterful. It was actually a beautiful sight to see. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was upset, but I was also like sitting back, like, wow, that was impressive. Feels like years since a dominant win. Calm down. I know it sucks. Like I said, this one sucked the most for me as well, but we're gonna be all right. It's gonna be okay. But experience. You're gonna hear a lot of that. But I do think that Spurs, it's gonna turn. The tide is gonna turn. The tide will turn. Last thing I'll say as well, I just want to bring this up because, God, that's a lot of L's. Look at all those L's on the left. But I do want to bring this up. While we have a we had a very tough season thus far. All right, let's just be real. All right, these are a lot of tough teams that we went against early on in the season. Things should start to turn around soon, hopefully. But I will say this: while things have been, not great, I don't think that our situation is as dire as another franchise's, which would be the Pistons. At least the Spurs, I know people say that they don't have a vision or whatever. It's like, no, there is a vision. You're trying to see what you got so you can make those next moves next season. But the Spurs understand what they need. They know that they're going to need a point guard. That's why they're allowing Sohan to get as many minutes as possible at point right now, because he's probably not going to get that in the future. So this type of experience is really good for us later on. But they know that. They know that they need another defensive, more than likely a defensive small forward. They know that they need another point guard. They know these things, but they're trying to evaluate the team right now, and then you start seeing what you got. Wemby doesn't even know his game 100%. So, it's really hard to build around him. But the Spurs are doing this in steps, and they only had to tank for one season, okay? Actively tank for one season. With that being said, though, we are not the Pistons. The Pistons, that's literally a team with no vision. They just constantly keep getting these players that make no sense as far as point guard. And this is years of this at this point. But if you look at the Spurs, the equivalent of us doing what the Pistons have done is if after this year we got Wemby, right? After this year, we go and get another 7-footer. And then the year after, we get another 7-footer. And then we get another guy that's kind of similar to Luka Samanic. And then we basically tell Wemby, all right, Wemby, make something happen. That is dysfunction. We are not at that point right now. Allow the Spurs to cook. We only tanked for one season. We tanked for one season. Most rookies coming into the league, even star rookies, number one overall picks, they don't have good seasons their first year. They just don't. Individually, they might, which Wemby is defensively and offensively. He's having a pretty good season. But as far as the win-losses, there's usually a lot of L's. It is. It's usually a lot of L's. So it is what it is. Ruru Sohan can kick rocks. He pissed me off. And I got no F's. Take the ish seriously, and I don't feel like he is. I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, that's Sohan. God, dude. Sohan. God, dude, he pissed me off too. You know what really pissed me off about this Sohan performance? This man had I can't believe he went 12 for 14. He went 12 for 14. We would have won if he went 13 for 14. But he went 12 for 14. 33 points. Gosh, dude. He should have had 30. He should have had 36. If he had 36, we win this game. 6 assists? Dude, if he had 7, we won this game. If it was a 7th assist for a 3, we would have won this game. A steal at the end of the game? God, if he had 2 steals, would have been an easy bat. Oh, that's Sohan. It's all his fault. Kick rock, Sohan. Hashtag blame Sohan.